Hello, everyone. This is Charlie Barley back at you here on the YouTube channel, and I am so excited to do this interview. We did it yesterday and had an accident and the audio failed, but you guys, hopefully we could try and mimic half of what we did yesterday because it was such an amazing interview, and I know you probably are looking at the title talking about some world-changing, history-breaking things that we're doing here. And the reason that I mentioned that is because of the point that I talked about yesterday. Of course, like I said, we didn't record it. And he's on the phone right now. And I'm going to introduce you guys in a second. But one of the things that I mentioned yesterday on the broken recording was how the maximum amount of times the record, at least the recorded record, for the most consistency that the history of the game has ever seen in its consistency was 26 on a red. That's the record, so it's been recorded. It might be less or it might be more, but for what has been actually recorded, they said that red had once went 26 straight times. The reason why I say that what we're doing is history breaking is because one of my students right now, and he still is going at this, I think right now, Sean, you're 28, technically 28 out of 29 days of wins, right?
That is correct.
So listen, I'm going to say this to you guys again. He is 28 out of 29 days a winner for a 97% win rate, which is completely by the numbers. The mentorship program, I talk about these numbers, and the only thing you had to do was follow him. And so what I wanted to do is bring Sean up and have you guys listen to Sean's account on what he learned about the numbers. Yesterday, we were talking about how you start to understand how do you delineate risk and the things that we teach in the program, and how this method, from a perspective of how money is exchanged and how money is made in this world, gives you the highest odds. And let me ask you this question, Sean. At what point do you think, like, and I asked you this yesterday, that you said, you know what, I'm going to give this guy a shot. I'm going to put him to the test. I'm going to do everything that he said and try and prove him a liar. And at what point do you think you say, you know what, this is not luck anymore?
I would have to say after day 3, I said to myself, this probably isn't luck. After day 5, I was like, this definitely is not just luck. There's something more. Something to these numbers.
Yeah, and you've gone 28 days consecutively. You've only lost one of those days out of the other 29 or 28 out of 29. So the reason I'm saying it's luck, because I could understand if you won 5 in a row, 6 in a row, maybe 7. The game has maximized a loss record of 26. You're 28 out of 29. So in the history of, since this game has been going, right now you're on track to break even what the game has been doing in the history of the game in terms of consistency. You understand that, right?
Yeah, it's almost mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely true. Definitely true.
So let me give you some more direct questions so that people can understand you. Let me ask you this question. How has what you've learned in the mentorship package and what you're doing to change your life, how has it changed your life, and what are your expectations of it?
Well, my expectations are almost up to my imagination. I could consider it limitless. If I were to continue the way I'm going now, I don't see how I could lose in any long-term fashion. You're always going to find a loser, but other than that one, I have yet to find one.
Right.
But the term's limitless, man. I don't know how far this could take me. All I know is I'm in it for the long ride because this is awesome.
Okay, so when you say limitless, now people, I don't think people fully grasp what we're saying. You are 28 of 29 days a winner, right? 28 of 29 days. I don't know of what other financial system that you can think of where you could either day trade? I think you do Forex, or you could start a business, anything that has to do with money. What do you know of that has that type of consistency? And I'm being dead serious. What can you show me, or can you tell me, or even guess that has that kind of consistency?
You can't. I mean, the statistics, the facts, the numbers are out there when it comes to you trying to create your own business, you trying to sell a product, a service, whatever it is. I mean, you're looking at a 70% loss rate within like the first 4 years?
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So when you showed us these numbers when I first started and you showed me this, you're looking anywhere between 90 to pretty much 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, I don't know about this guy, but if I don't take this opportunity and it passes me, I'll never know. So let me take this chance. I'm living proof. I'm at 97% win rate. There is no other business, unless you're cheating, whether it's insider trading, but there's really no other business where you have a 97% win rate.
Wow. Yeah. And these are the numbers. And one of the reasons why we stretched it out over amount of days is so that you can have empirical proof. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not the reason that we're doing it in days is so that the proof is empirical, not luck. You know what I'm saying? Like you could get on a lucky streak. You say, oh man, I had a really good time. But can you do that tomorrow? Can you do that 2 weeks from now? And right now, we're proving that you can do this today, tomorrow, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months from now.
Right.
Wow. So let me ask you this question. I'm going to wrap up, but a lot of things that you talked about yesterday, man, if you could just be as candid as you can. One of the things I said is I want you to talk to, before I talk to the people who are interested in joining, I want you to speak to them about, because, people are even, the cost of it is enormous, this, that, and the other. And one of the things is, like, it's one thing for me to say it. It's another thing for people who are doing it to know the numbers. I don't think people truly understand the cost that it takes to make a decision. Like the cost of living, the cost of risk in your life, the true bigger game that you're truly playing, and the money that you paid compared to the knowledge that you currently have, and the fact that with your dollar, you're trading at a 97% win rate. I think the best investors on Wall Street are probably at a 70%, 75. And I'm talking the best ones. All right. What you're doing, what we're doing, you've done it over 30, or right at 30-day mark. If it was a lie, you wouldn't have gotten past maybe 10 days.
Yeah. Probably not 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days.
This game is built off of randomness. So if I were to lose, it would probably show up earlier than later. But I have something to say to both the students plus some of these new people. Who do you want me to talk to first?
Yeah, let's talk to the current students. I want you to speak to them about your experience, how you came in it, and what it is that you're doing, which is very simple. I mean, of course, you know how simple this is. And one of the things I've often talked about was how simple it is, and how it's because it's so simple, you could actually lose yourself. And it's really easy to do that. But one of the things that you mentioned to me about being a Forex trader is some of the unspoken skills that you had to, tap into to really take control of yourself, because you really were getting in your way with this. So talk to the students first, and then we'll talk to the people who are thinking about it.
Okay. So to the students, I want to say that nobody has ever built an empire in a day. And if you want to build an empire, it does take time. That's something that I learned through Forex over the course of 10 years of trading, which, by the way, I've never seen right now I'm at about 50% return on investment. Going very, very conservatively. And some of the best Wall Street traders aim for about 30% in a year. And I've made 50% in less than 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have patience. And if you don't, your empire is going to end up burning. And any of the students that are available and they'd like to reach out to me, I'll leave my email, at the end of this interview. But you gotta have patience. Your empire won't be built in a day.
No, that's right, brother. We were talking about on the phone call yesterday about how there's nothing, and I mentioned this in other videos, there's nothing in the world that's made overnight. For some reason, we come to the game of roulette and we lose all sense of credibility, just common sense. It's just like it's thrown out of the window when it comes to the game. And we talked a little bit about how the bigger game is being played on us. And what we've done was essentially figured out the best statistical mathematical approach to trading money. It's really that simple. So when you understand that we're trading, we're trading, but we're trading at the highest percentage that, to me, that I don't know of any higher percentage that has a guarantee like this, because like you've proven, like it's if it was not true, you would have been done a long time ago. So
no, absolutely.
yeah, and and the thing about it, people, is that he sent me every day, and I would tell you, listen, try it, and you prove it. Prove the numbers to yourself. Remember, we were talking about that. You said, hey, you made me make you. I didn't just say, hey, well, here it is, but I made you go think about it, right?
That's correct. You said you're not to play live money. You're not to, try to gamble. You're to take the information that I've given you and study it. And after the first week, I was like, oh, I think I got it. And what did you tell me? You said, all right, go another week. You're not there yet to go live. Do it another week. Now, someone who'd want to swindle me for my money would probably say something like, yeah, go live. It's great. You're fine. Go ahead. But your generosity and your caring about your students to actually make it, you said, no, this takes time, this takes patience. Keep working at it. You're doing good. And, I had my training wheels for a while. Now I'm live, doing great. And, no, man, I can't wipe a smile off my face.
Hey, bro, it's a powerful thing that when you have power to manipulate time through your knowledge. And I can't emphasize this enough, is that anything we do with our time is equivalent to money. And it's like, how do you best make the most and spend the least, right? And we talked yesterday about, and we're going to talk to, I want you to talk to the people who are thinking about it, but I want to make this real quick point, is that if you were an investor, and if I told you that, hey, there's an investment portfolio that I want you to invest in, but it only has a 30% chance of winning or producing profit or return, would you invest in that? You probably wouldn't, right? But what if I also said, oh, I have another investment I want you to make. It's a guarantee, dividends on your return. It's going to happen every 2 weeks. So I'll make sure you get dividends on your return every 2 weeks. Does that sound pretty good to you? Every 2 weeks, I'm going to give you some money off of your return. Does that sound pretty good, right? Pretty good. Okay. But here's the stipulation. You're going to give me 8 to 12 hours of your life every day.
That might be a deal breaker.
And the money that you actually get from me, most of which is going to go toward a bill that's going to keep things floating and, lights on and house on while you're working for me. How does that sound?
This deal's getting worse.
It's getting worse, right? But don't you know that's all a calculation, right? It's all a risk variable. What you've done is you said, I don't want to take the risk of getting more, so I'm willing to trade in my life because I don't know or believe that there is more. And what people say is, I want to escape that slavery train. I'm going to go start a business. And then they start a business, and as an investor, starting a business, it sounds noble because, hey, my dad had the bike shop, my mom did the crochet business. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Well, you could be a slave to your own creation too. You could be working more in your business than you would even having a job. So what then did it make of you? You just were just another slave to the system, except you were able to call it on paper yours. But as an investor, it's not a wise thing to do because, number one, the system generally controls the bigger amount of flow when it comes to products and services, like your Amazons, your bigger corporations out here, right? So all the small businesses, they get swallowed up in that 70 percentile range. But the difference is that it happens in four years of your life. In Vegas, you could go make a one bet at 50% in 45 seconds. Or you could go start a business and take the same type of bet in which you're going to have a 20% more risk. And it's going to happen not in 45 seconds, but in 4 years of your life. So what we've decided to do is to say, okay, I get how the game works. It's a money game. It's a time game. What can offer us the highest return for our money in the least amount of time? And that is the game of roulette. It's the craziest thing to think about it that way. But if you break down the game of roulette, it pays out every 45 seconds. There are no biases when it comes to your skin color, your size, your weight, you're a woman, you're a male, you're tall, short, black, whatever the case may be. All of those factors leave you. In the real world, in business, those factors don't leave you. That's one of the reasons why you fail. Or if you try to attempt to start a business, you go back to a job because you don't think there's another less riskier way out of the game. And what we're proving is when you study the game of roulette, the variables are limited. Because of these limitations, there's this thing called permutations, in which these permutations have limitations. And if you understand the timing factor of that, you can do exactly what Sean is doing. And for almost 30 days, he's only had one loss in 29 days. That is what we call history and groundbreaking. So, Sean, with that, you could piggyback on what I just said and follow back into, I want you to talk to the people who are thinking about it. Like they say, you know what? It sounds like a lot of money. I don't know if this guy's legitimate. I've seen all type of people call him a scammer. He's this, he's that, or whatever the case. You have empirical proof. Like you literally, if someone wanted to even, you could show them. Like I could show them. But talk to people who are on the fence about it or who are thinking that this will not be what they think it is.
Sure. So the deal is this. As of right now, the majority of us are working to make this paycheck. Most of us, myself included, I'm at work more than I'm at home. So I don't consider that really living. I simply consider it existing. So when an opportunity like this comes your way, you've got two options. You can talk trash about it and say it's probably not real, it's probably a scammer, etc., etc. And you can continue your life, working your job, hoping that when you're 65 or 70, you get to retire with some of your money.
Yeah.
And you can continue down that path. Or you could take a chance, take an opportunity that's handed to you, try this for yourself, and you'll see that this is not a scam. This is not fake. The numbers don't lie.
Yep.
They don't lie. So it's up to you if you want to live exactly the way you are, but I doubt it if you're watching this video or listening to this audio. You want to change something in your life, you got to take this opportunity, and if you don't, nothing's going to change for you.
Amen to that, brother. And you know what? And while you just said that, I want people to truly know and understand that, listen, It's well, number one, there's only I have a few more slots left, and the reason that I'm still offering it up is because I want to trust the right people. There are people who will get this information, I don't even hear from them. Well, Sean will even tell you. And by the way, Sean, I know you offered this up on the last call, but you mentioned to me, you said, hey, if anyone, even if you're thinking about this and you're a good guy, you're a good person, you want to join this and you want to do it the right way, you could even email Sean about it. And I'll let Sean give you the, give you, you can give him your email address if you like toward the end of the call. But one of the things, bro, is that it's amazing how, particularly you, like when you first came here, we had that long phone call, and you've done it literally exactly the way that I've said it. And I remember when we were talking, when you first got the information, you said, dude, I can't believe how simple this is. Remember that?
Yeah, I was like, wait, is this for real, Charlie? Is this serious?
Yeah.
It can't be this simple. And you just started laughing, and you were like, yeah, it is. But with that simplicity comes danger, because you can put yourself in your own way.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, you can burn your entire empire down. But yeah, no, I definitely remember that. I called you and I said, it can't be this simple.
Yeah.
Said, Sean, it
is. And the only thing you have to do is just stay lockstep with what we say. That's it. You could have more patience if you want to make your odds even better than they are. Like right now, you're at a 97% right now. That's what your win rate is. So that's astronomically better than anything that I've ever, that you're ever going to hear about. In a 30-day test period, he'll do this for the next 3 years. If it was going to fail, it would have failed within 3 or 4 days. Okay. So he's already proven that. So he's at a 97%, but you could even, you even know how to go from 97 to like 0.1% oddity if you wanted to, just through more patience. But you don't even have to do that. And even playing it the way that you do, just staying consistent to the point. Don't try to do more than what you can. Just stay there. And the results are just astronomical and skyrocketing at that point.
right. I mean, I could make it. Right now, I'm taking the most risk, and it's still giving me 97% win rate. And like you said, I could make it to that point one. But in my opinion, I don't see why. Because if I can get 90, if I can get a win, I don't need 28 wins in a row. I don't need that much. But it's great that it comes. It's great that the numbers don't lie.
Yep.
I could do a lot more conservatively. I'll say it like that. But even at the least conservative trading, I don't call this gambling. If I was gambling, I would be rubbing what are they, those rabbit feet?
Right.
But instead, I'm doing basically what I would do in trading currencies, where I'm looking at numbers, looking at statistics. It's just so much more simple.
Yep.
I'm trading. I'm not gambling.
No, man. Gamblers are for suckers and losers and people who are ignorant and who like to lose and waste money. That's like, I won't even start another business. I think I've mentioned that to you before too. I often say that people say, would you ever go back to a business again? And I'm like, for what? The numbers don't add up. I mean, unless it's some type of empirical proof that the numbers can provide a 97% return every time I put $1 down, and I can get rid of the risk of you lying to me, or you not making a meeting, or you inside trading on me or something. If I can remove all of those factors, I'll go back into business. But what I've discovered here is my ability to make money without those factors. And what's cool about it is that the only thing we have is data. We got analytics. And it's just like, as I mentioned yesterday, flying an airplane. A pilot doesn't fly based upon his visual most of the time. He flies based upon the instruments. You got to go by the numbers. If you go by the numbers, you're going to land safely. If you try to judge the airspeed by what you see, you probably hit that thing harder than what you want to. So you got to trust the numbers. Say again?
What we call that is emotion.
Mm.
You're letting your emotions get in the way. I mean, with this, if you take a loss, you may shoot yourself in the foot trying to do something stupid, and that's letting your emotions go. But if you follow the numbers and follow Charlie's instructions and study, that's all you have to do.
Yeah. That's all you got to do. Well, look, brother, man, you have definitely proven without a single shred of doubt that the numbers do not lie. You have also proven, and you're not the only one that's doing this. I got a few more interviews of people who are doing exactly this, but you're just one of them, and you're proving, you're even, like I said, the history of the game in terms of record is 26 in a row. You are on well, you've exceeded in terms of consistency of wins, but right now you're on a consistency. I think when you made that first loss, it was what, on the third day or fourth? What day was that when you had that the zero loss?
Oh, the zero loss was definitely.
I mean, not the zero loss, the legitimate loss.
I believe that was day 13.
Okay, day 13. So between 13-29, you're a few teams in terms of consistency. But when you look at it in terms of total win rate, 97%. It's almost like if you were betting on that red that went 26, that 97% of all of those reds you won. That's the equivalent to how precise you are at this point in terms of the numbers. So congratulations to that again, folks. Oh, by the way, man, if you guys want to reach out to Sean, don't listen. He's going to give you his email, but if you're interested in the truth, if you're interested in knowing it the right way, you say, hey, man, I want to talk to a student first before I even join up with Charlie. Hit him up, and if he decides to talk to you over the phone, that's his choice. But you want to give out your email, Sean?
Yeah. So you guys can reach me at the letter J LAGAKOS@gmail.com. That's jlagakos@gmail.com.
Good. You guys got a few days to do it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm almost near being done with the entire channel. So you got a few days. If you see this video, if you guys are serious about joining, it's a fully guaranteed. The numbers will not fail you. They do not lie. And you could talk to Sean, and you could even talk to other students. But right now it's Sean's showcase. I want you guys to hear it from him. Hit him up if you need. But if you're ready to go, we're ready to go, and you'll have full support of myself and other students who are all headed toward retirement this year. So literally, like, if you're, say again?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, we're not kidding you guys. Like, this is real business. This is real deal stuff. So shoot me an email, permutationspro@gmail.com, if you're prepared, if you're ready. If you're not, don't waste your time. You're just not prepared. It's okay. Everybody's not at the same place at the same time. I get it. But if you are, contact me, and we're prepared. But I will say this: in about 30 more days, the channel is probably going to be going off. So if you're interested in hooking up with us, do it more sooner than later. Sean, any more last comments, brother?
None other than don't let opportunities pass you by due to fear.
Good one, bro.
Fear is the biggest reason why you're going to continue at a job you hate, answering to a boss who you hate. It's the ball's in your court if you want to try to change your life for the better, and I'm living proof of that.
Yeah, living proof, folks. And I'll back this up. When you mentioned fear, the reason people have fear is because they don't have knowledge. And if you lack knowledge, that's the only reason to drive fear. What we're going to give you is knowledge. All right. And the knowledge that we're going to give you is going to be empirical, mathematical knowledge. The only thing you've got to do is follow through with it. That's it. Am I right or wrong, Sean?
Absolutely right.
There
You haven't lied to me yet.
There you go. Well, anyway, man, thank you again, brother. And, stay, keep doing what you're doing. Continue to send me those daily texts. Every day he sends me a text. Hey, man, I'm still on my goal. I'm still making it. He's steady increasing his money. He's just balling right now. And you could do the exact same thing he does. And it's not because of luck. It's not because wishful thinking. It's pure math. It's pure science. The numbers do not lie. So with that said, folks, thank you guys for tuning in again. I got another couple more videos, so stay tuned to the channel for more videos. Thanks again, Sean, brother. Thanks a lot, bro.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care. See you later, Sean.
Bye.
Take care.